Hi, welcome to Practical English, and today we're looking at the format of the IELTS speaking exam. So your IELTS speaking exam is going to be about 15 minutes long, and there are 3 different parts to it, and they're all slightly different. Part 1 is an impromptu section, and what that means is you won't have any time to prepare. The examiner will just ask you questions and you'll be expected to answer straight away. All of the questions in part 1 are going to be about you, and they're going to be about your life, things you're interested in, things you like, things you dislike, maybe where you live, all these kind of personal questions. Not too personal, but personal questions. And there's not too much more to say about this, really. It's probably the easiest section of the IELTS exam because none of the set questions are going to be on anything that's too hard for you, but it's a good place to get warmed up, and it's a good place to get a good head start to show off a little bit and to show off some of the specialist knowledge you have about subjects you're interested in. The second part of the IELTS speaking exam, part 2, is not impromptu. It's a prepared answer. And so what you'll do is you'll get a little slip. The examiner will give you a question and you'll have 1 minute to prepare an answer to this question, and you can make notes if you want. Then after that, the examiner will say, please speak for up to 2 minutes. And it's better to use all of that time. If you speak for 1 minute 30, it won't look as good as if you speak for 2 minutes. The topics on this will be about you again, but they might be a little bit more about experiences you've had. They often ask you to tell a story from the past or something along those lines. And the third part is another impromptu section. So another section where they just ask you a question you have to answer straight away. And the difference between part 1 and part 3 is the questions in part 3 won't be so much about you. They're going to be more general. They're going to be about society. And the issues they ask about will be about the same topic as was in part 2. So for example, they may ask you about a gift you bought someone in part 2, and then in part 3 they'll make it a bit more general and they'll ask you about gift giving. So the timings of these, part 1 will be about 4 or 5 minutes. Part 2 will be 1 minute of preparation and 2 minutes of speaking, and part 3 will be 4 or 5 minutes again, and then we have a little gap in between as you transition between those different parts, and it usually comes out just under 15 minutes for the test. I hope this video was useful. If you have any more questions about speaking, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and check out one of the videos that's floating somewhere up here around my head.